Yes. Okay, so Bruce, tell me in your words and from your perspective, what happened out there at that opening challenge?
After having a conversation with a couple of different people from yesterday at the party, they reiterated what I knew. I went in hard. I wanted to play the game hard right out off the bat. I was the oldest guy there, so I had a little something to show with these young cats over there, and I had to be like, all right, now let's go. Impact ensued.
Well, like, we see you hit the head, we see the blood and everything, then you go through, you get the puzzle pieces, you get back to your mat. You're on the mat as people are working on the puzzle and things start going south. What are you feeling there? What's going on?
It definitely had to have been an adrenaline dump. Like it was just like I remember coming back with the puzzle piece, dropped it on the table, and then Sarah was in front of me and she had turned around and looked at me and her face was like, and then immediately I started thinking, the thought process is like, oh man, I already saw the blood dripping down. It was dripping down on the puzzle piece. I saw it on my hand when I wiped my head. Everything started settling in once the adrenaline, came down, and it was like the pains. Excuse me, the pains started, and it was just overwhelming, and just took me to my knees.
You seem to improve somewhat. You were cleared to continue. When did things then start to go bad again after you got back to the beach?
Once we got back to the beach, a part we didn't get to see. It was I was getting the mud off of my body, and I had stepped out of a pair of pants, and my foot got caught in my pants, and I kind of went like down, and everything jerked forward, and that was it. That was the start to the end. I was already at a 7. The pain level was at 7 already. And then it just immediately went to a 10. And then before I knew it, foggy, the roll around my eyes was a little weird. And it was just like, I couldn't. So I stumbled out to the beach and came to docks.
What was the diagnosis, Bruce? Was it a concussion? I mean, that's what it looked like, but
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a straight up concussion. The biggest, I had this conversation with my kids this morning. The biggest part of it all is that they had brought up the thought of it could potentially be like a brain bleed of some sort because of the impact, and that freaked me out the most. That freaked me out the most. If they came to me and said, "Bruce, listen, you got a concussion. We're gonna give you some, Advil, ibuprofen, whatever have you, and we're gonna monitor you. Just try to stay awake tonight." La da da da. Like I would have been okay. I got you. I'm in your hands. But once they said that, I started freaking out, and then it was like they knew they were not taking a chance at all.
so what are your emotions like then, Bruce? I mean, you've only been out there 12 hours and they're telling you you need to be removed from the game. You're also in a lot of pain, so I'm sure you're focusing in on that. But tell me,
Yeah.
we saw a little bit of it on the show, but just to take us through what you're feeling in that moment.
I was feeling absolute dread. Absolute dread. It wasn't real that I was there for that period of time. In my mind, it felt like I was there for 3 hours. Um, if like a really short period, like the sun was setting when we got to our beach pretty much. And it was just a wave of emotions. There was a point in time they actually showed it last night where I'm like my arms are straight because in my mind I'm like trying to hold on to that Fijian sand. I did not want them to pick me up off the ground. Like I didn't want to go. First off, my tribe, they're awesome. Every single one of them were awesome. And it wasn't even just because of me getting medevaced out. They were awesome from the beginning. And, we had a camaraderie that we gelled together so quickly, in my mind at that point in time. And it's like, yes, like these guys are all awesome. And I hate that I'm leaving because I know that I need them as much as they need me.
So take us through we see you on the stretcher, put into the boat. Tell us what happened after you got on that boat.
It was a whirlwind. What happened? I got on the boat. They took me to another area, and then I flew via helicopter to the mainland. And then from the mainland, it was a 2.5 hour ambulance ride to the hospital. I guess it was raining out, and the pilot didn't want to fly in those conditions, and I appreciate that because I didn't want anything going wrong. But it was a two and a half hour ride. I got to the hospital. Some of the nicest people in the entire world. They made me comfortable. The pain was gone, for what they gave me. And then, I got a CT scan, and they determined that everything was perfectly fine. They kept me for observation for about another 6 hours, and then I was able to go back to Ponderosa.
When did you start like, because I know with concussions, they can come and go, right? Like you can feel okay, and then a day or two later, you're not feeling so great, and there's a recovery process, and everyone's experience is completely different. So, what
Yeah,
was it like for you then? When did you start to feel some relief, and then were there some sort of aftershocks after that?
that was the aftershocks were reliving everything in my head over and over and over again. But once I got back to Ponderosa, I stayed in a room, blinds closed. I coached football for many, like 11 years. And so I know the concussion protocol. So no TV, no anything. The lights were dim. The only time I actually really saw light is when they brought me what I was gonna have for lunch, or for dinner. And I stayed in my room, and I was in my room for 3 days. I remember going for a walk at one point in time, and I was like, all right, I feel okay. I went for a walk. I opened the door, the light hit me, and it was like boom, the symptoms of the concussion came back. It's no joke. It's no joke when people talk about it.
Normally this would be a real super bummer of a conversation to have, but the thing that's I kind of love is that there is kind of a happy ending to this story. I mean, Jeff Probst announced on his podcast, you are officially invited back to play, the first post season 40 person to get that invitation. When and how did you get that invite, Bruce?
So my phone was in my pocket, but my wristwatch, all the messages go, and it just kind of kept vibrating all night. My watch started buzzing. Bzz, 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 bzz. I can't see it. I didn't care. I just kind of let it go. I was having fun mingling, talking to all my friends. And then I got home. My wife and I came home, and it was 12:45. I laid in bed, and my wife was already in bed, and she's kind of looking at comments that people were saying. They're like, their love for me that they were sending through social media, and my wife was reading it. And I was like, oh, let me check my phone real quick. So I grabbed my glasses because I need my glasses, and I'm laying in bed, and I looked, and my cast is like, I'm looking at their things and everything that people are saying about them, and I'm like, yes, yeah, a couple of things, but like, Bruce, oh my God, Bruce, did you see this, Bruce? And I'm, what the hell is this? And I clicked on it, and it brought me right to Jeff's podcast. I'm listening, and then Jeff's like, cue the music, and then music playing, and then he said it. I'm telling you, I bawled like a baby. First off, the love that people are sending me, which is just great, but to hear his voice and to know that this is an invitation to play this game that I love. I love. It brought all the emotions. I had 9 months of emotions because I know what happened to me, and I didn't tell anyone. My kids tonight was the first time that or last night was the first time that they knew exactly what happened. They saw the scar on my head. They knew that that I had some kind of trauma, and I even talked to them earlier in the day, and I said, listen, it was traumatic for me. It will probably be traumatic for you, but yeah, as you know, I'm fine. And then all those emotions came forward. Emotions about my kids, emotions about getting the game, emotions with my wife and her having to hold on to this for a period of time, and now it's just all flooded forward to know that I can redeem myself by having too tight of a shirt. The shirt was too tight. I couldn't get my arms down. So
Believe it on the shirt. I love it. And I also love that. I mean, that Probst didn't give you a heads up because he spoke to you for that podcast and still didn't tell you he was inviting you back. He just let you
I
find out like the rest
know.
of us.
Listen, I really thought, I swear to God, I thought that he was gonna say to me like continue on, because production is production. He could have been like, oh, well, Bruce, we missed this, and I wanted to ask this question. That's what I thought I was going back into, because when we spoke a couple of days prior to, he's like, keep it on the hush, and I did, but it was like, then, oh, well, yeah, he wants to talk to you again. He said, yeah, and I'm like, okay, cool, not a problem. Oh, and then they called me back like, you having a party? We're not gonna have you talk to Jeff. I'm like, wait a minute, no, I will talk to Jeff. And like, nope, nope, you have your party, and then we'll get you to talk to Jeff again. So, but that was great. That was super exciting.
It's amazing. I mean, let's say you did not get that invitation back, right? Like, how would the experience sit with you getting out like that so early? And this is what you thought. This is what you thought until a few hours ago, that this was going to be your whole survivor journey. This was going to be it. How would that have sat with you?
It would have sat with me because I started getting to the point now of being like, okay, all right, I'm getting okay with this. And then once everything hit and everything went through, by way of like the episode and the well wishes and the people that were there that were supporting me last night. Now, yes, there were people that I know and I love, and they're very near and dear friends of mine. But the overwhelming support that I was being told that was happening with social media and people that have never met me, all of that, I was just like, okay, this is my swan song. It's okay. I'm fine with it. It's good. And then I got this. I'm like, ah.
So if you had your choice, do you want to come back on like a all returning players season or on a season with other newbies since you only played a few hours?
I don't care. I had no ability to strategize or to, like Jam said, poop in the ocean. I had nothing, no ability to do any of that stuff. So I don't care if it's a returning season. I don't care if it's newbies. I want to go out there. I want to have a great time. I want to expand the survivor family and meet people. If it's new, meet people if they've been there for, for years, and grab their experiences, and just be able to talk about my experience in life in general. 'Cause I saw that a lot. Like being older, a lot of my castmates come to me and they ask me questions, and they hold on to what it is that I talk to them about, which is just great. It's heartwarming. But if I can do that for other people that are brand new to the game or someone that's played before, I would love to do that again. But to answer your question, I don't give a damn. I'll play with anyone.
It's the right answer. Last one I got for you. You only had a few hours. Who do you think would have been your ride or die? Who would have been your partner in crime? Who would you have lined with on that tribe if you'd had a chance?
That's extremely hard to answer right now. The reason being is because I got to form bonds individually with almost everyone on a certain level. And if I can think back to the day one, for my tribe, and not bringing into account everything that I know about everyone now, and seeing their experience, I don't think I can just pick one. Like I think I would work it in a way that I'd have multiple.
Always the politician. He's getting ready to play again already with his answer. I love it. Bruce, thanks for hanging out, man. This was awesome.
Of course, of course. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.